Were the Romans descendants of the Greeks? Now, that is a good question, isn't it? Because apparently some Greek and Roman historians like to claim that the Romans were actually descendant from Aeneas of Troy, a Trojan hero from the Trojan Wars. Now, Onicious of Alicornasus, he was a historian, a Roman historian from the 1st century BCE, and he actually got a lot of writings from the 3rd century BCE to try and get a good picture of, how Rome came to be, like what peoples actually participated in this. And what the guys were saying during the 3rd century BCE is that before the Trojan War, so we're talking maybe about 14th century BC, a group of Greeks from Achaia, so from Greece, they migrated over to the region of Latium in Italy. And later, after the Trojan War, some Trojan exiles joined them. And with these Trojan exiles, there was Aeneas of Troy. All of them together, they founded the city of Alba Longa. And after this, Remo and Romulus are born, and they are exiled as well, and they eventually find themselves near the place where Rome is. Romulus kills Remo, and Romulus founds the city of Rome. 4 centuries after Alba Longa is founded, Romulus founds Rome. These written accounts come from all the way back to the 3rd century BCE, and during the 3rd century BCE, Rome was going through some changes. You can say that, right? So there's the Pyrrhic Wars. There's a lot of rebellion throughout the the Samnites, the Lucanians, the Campanians. They're all rebelling against Roman rule, and of course there's the conquest of Etruria. So Rome wanted to unify all of these people. This is the Greeks from southern Italy, the Italians from central Italy, and the Etruscans from, a little bit up on, a little bit northern part of Italy, not really northern Italy, but that is what it is. So you want to unify these peoples under one single foundation myth. And I think that is exactly what they were going for, not really ignoring the truth, but something like that. So I think this was maybe a little bit of a propaganda history, all of this creation myth. Anyway, what does archaeology have to say about this? Well, ever since 12,000 BCE, the city of Rome, or the region where the city of Rome would come to be, has been inhabited by locals, okay? So peoples have come and gone, but the region has been constantly inhabited. And of course, by the 8th century BC, we see that somebody erected walls, which means Rome was probably founded around the 8th century BCE. This is good information, right? But it doesn't tell us who actually created it, other than it must have been the locals. And it really must have been the locals, because this region was prime real estate, and it makes sense that the Italians would found the city right there. The reason why is very simple. Natural borders are very good. You have the river Tiber, and you have a bunch of hills to defend your city on, so that is really good. And then there's the commercial aspect, that Rome actually is at the crossroads of commercial routes. You have from the Sabines in the inner Italia, and then you have the Etruscans to the north, then you have the Latins to the south, and all of these trade routes would converge in Rome. Anybody with a brain would want to make a city right there. But it is also possible that the 7 tribes of Rome, the traditional 7 tribes of Rome, they were not all Italic peoples. Maybe some were Latin tribes, maybe some were Etruscan tribes, maybe some were Italian tribes, which is actually possible because, villages were pretty small, so they could be coexisting nearby, and Etruria was just maybe 40 kilometers to the north, and Rome was in Latium, and there were a lot of Italic tribes all across Italy, so it makes sense that there were tribes of different origins there. And actually, of the 7 kings of Rome, 1 was Romulus, 2 were Etruscans, and the other ones we don't really know the origin. So okay, maybe there is a multicultural beginnings to Rome, or is it just propaganda? Well, we don't really know. There also have been a lot of Mycenaean findings throughout Italy. And I'm saying Mycenaean because by the 14th century BCE, these migrants, they were not really Greeks, they were Mycenaean. Their culture was Mycenaean, right? So there were Mycenaean findings all across Italy, and they suggest that there might have been small local Mycenaean communities all across Italy or in certain points of Italy. And it might be that one of these points was in Latium, all right? Then, of course, it's possible that these communities would integrate with the locals, especially after the Bronze Age collapse. And it's likely that the isolation from the Bronze Age collapse would force these peoples to intermingle with the locals and create their own unique blends of culture, language, and even pantheons. And we can see that, you know, the Roman pantheon was very, very similar to the Greek pantheon. And I know that there was appropriation of the Romans of Greek gods, but it was already similar before, and the same for the Etruscans, right? So maybe there was something else going on. And it's also possible that after 4 centuries of being isolated, you know, after the Bronze Age collapse in the 11th century BCE, it's actually possible that for 4 centuries you would create this kind of unique culture that you would not find in Italy or in Greece anymore. Right, so creating a really unique thing of with Italian characteristics and Greek characteristics as well. So, you know, by the time of the foundation of Rome in the 8th century BCE, we're talking about these peoples had been here forever already, for centuries, you know. So it was many generations of Mycenaeans that had been, you know, existing in Italy already. So when after Alba Longa is founded, you know, after 4 centuries, the peoples there are no longer Mycenaean, they are Italian, they are Latins. Actually, it's a unique culture, they are Latins now. So I think that's actually very, very possible. And of course that if then after, you know, in the 8th century, some people from Alba Longa, some Latins actually go to the Roman hills, found a village, and later they found a city, it's perfectly feasible that some of the Romans would actually have Greek descent. And so I, for one, believe that the most probable scenario is that, yeah, maybe Alba Longa was created by a mix of Mycenaean peoples who banded together after the Bronze Age collapse, or during the Bronze Age collapse. They eventually banded with local groups, and centuries later they just went to Rome and they founded the city of Rome together with the locals. Who knows? Just look at how Latin culture is. Just look at how many similarities it had with the Greeks of the time. And the same for the Etruscans. Look at the similarities. So it's possible that the same thing happened with the Etruscans, where a body of Mycenaeans actually intermingled with the locals, and over generations a unique culture, you know, just sprung up. And so I don't think it's fair to say that the Romans have Greek descendancy, but they clearly have Mycenaean descendancy, which is the same descendancy as the Greeks. I guess we could say they have, one of the parents is the same. All right, and yeah, let's keep it like that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this topic? Were the Romans descendants of the Greeks, or was it just, you know, completely independent, like the Romans were just Italians who developed that kind of culture, and you know, they founded the city? Let me know your opinion. I would really like to know. Goodbye.